Imagine ordering a new laptop, tracking the shipment, and bam, suddenly finding out it's delayed indefinitely.
Right, which happens all the time lately.
Exactly. And why? Well, because right now, over 20,000 seafarers are trapped in this massive geopolitical standoff halfway across the world. Supply chain is navigating these severe geopolitical crises while at the exact same time rushing to build a green, high-tech future. So let's unpack this. How do everyday goods actually reach you when global waters are just in total chaos?
What really helps to look at global shipping is this giant physical algorithm. Box A must move to port B by Tuesday. But right now, there's a massive bug in the code at the Strait of Hormuz.
Like a completely blocked artery in the world's cardiovascular system?
That is a perfect way to put it, yeah. Tensions are escalating rapidly there. You've got Iran tightening control right in the middle of a U.S. naval blockade.
Hmm.
And that physical reality is just severely disrupting global shipping routes.
And the cost isn't just, delayed electronics or missing parts. I was really struck by the unseen human element in these sources.
Yeah, the human cost is staggering.
Right, because global unions are urgently calling for a ceasefire, specifically because of those 20,000 stranded seafarers. I mean, that is a massive workforce caught right in the crosshairs of a geopolitical choke point.
Which, exposes a massive systemic vulnerability. The Strait of Hormuz handles about 20% of the world's oil.
Wow, 20%.
Yeah, so when that route gets blocked, global fuel prices just skyrocket. It's exactly this intense vulnerability to fossil fuel choke points that is actually accelerating a completely different maritime race.
The pivot to green infrastructure. Which makes so much more sense when you think about it. I mean, a naval blockade stops a green ship just as easily as an oil tanker, sure. But if the industry runs on renewables, it isn't held hostage by that fossil fuel geography.
Right. And we're seeing the physical hardware change to support this right now. Take the heavy deck carrier King 1.
The one that just completed its maiden voyage, right?
Yes. And we aren't talking about, slapping some solar panels on an old boat here. It's moving massive offshore wind monopiles.
Which, for those who don't know, are basically these giant steel tubes the size of skyscrapers that anchor wind turbines to the seafloor.
Precisely. And alongside that scale of engineering, you have the Udupi Cochin shipyard delivering the Wilson Eco-5 vessel. It's bringing a major boost to India's eco-friendly shipbuilding capabilities. The physical ships are undeniably changing.
Let me push back on that for a second, though. Are a handful of eco-vessels actually making a dent right now? I mean, it feels like a green drop in a highly polluted ocean. Building the Wilson Eco-5 doesn't solve the fact that the industry is still overwhelmingly reliant on dirty energy.
Well, no, it doesn't solve it overnight. That's fair. But this isn't just about shipping companies voluntarily going green for, good PR. Heavy regulation is actively forcing this transition.
Wait, what kind of regulation?
Look at Europe. They're moving much closer to strict hazardous cargo liability enforcement. 4 nations actually just ratified the 2010 Hazardous and Noxious Substances Convention.
So what does that actually mean on the ground for, a standard shipping company?
By enforcing this convention, Europe is essentially attaching a massive financial penalty to moving dirty cargo. The legal liability for a spill is now astronomically expensive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so shipping companies are realizing it's actually cheaper in the long run to build green ships and avoid those financial liabilities altogether.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because physical ships, even the green ones, are still vulnerable to physical blockades. So true resilience actually means moving off the water entirely. We are seeing a huge push in the sources to digitize tracking and bring crucial manufacturing much closer to home.
Which brings us to FIATA. They're the Global Freight Forwarding Association, and they just launched a guide for an electronic, paperless bill of lading.
Think of a bill of lading as the ultimate passport and receipt for a shipping container.
Exactly. And historically, losing that physical piece of paper meant your cargo was stuck in port for weeks.
What a nightmare.
Seriously. So digitizing it removes days of bureaucratic delays. It's a massive leap for secure trade. Combine that with India, where the Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises is partnering up to boost real-time logistics intelligence.
They're trying to see the whole board at once, basically predicting delays before they happen.
Right, and they're building the physical pieces at home, too. India is making a huge push for self-reliance with their first semiconductor chip fabrication, SEZ, or Special Economic Zone at Dholera, led by Tata.
By setting up this designated hub to supercharge local chip production, they are cutting the physical supply chain down to almost nothing.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, Digitizing trade and localizing semiconductor manufacturing builds an immune system against physical global shocks.
That makes perfect sense.
I mean, if the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, but your container passport is paperless and your chips are made right down the road in Dollara, your local economy doesn't shut down.
So what does this all mean for you? We've gone from navigating naval blockades and stranded crews to tracking paperless cargo and printing microchips locally. Trade is shifting from just moving physical boxes across risky oceans to moving instant data.
Right. The physical algorithm is getting a much-needed shock-proof digital upgrade.
But that leaves you with one final thing to think about. As logistics becomes fully automated and completely reliant on electronic systems like Fiata's paperless bills, what happens if a global cyber crisis hits?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the real question.
When the physical shipping lanes clear but the network goes dark, who controls the digital Strait of Hormuz?